It's a story about two stones. It's a sculpture and this video. I found that first stone in the middle of the Serengeti in Tanzania at a river wash, and the second stone was here right in West Michigan.
We're here with Mick von Dockstetter talking about an exciting art prize entry. And Mick, God's necklace and the Southern Cross, I have a feeling it has something to do with that necklace you're wearing today.
Well, that was the catalyst. This necklace is the beginning of this art prize. This art prize project started in 2007. Then when it was in January when I found this stone, and I found a matching stone quite a bit bigger in 2016.
Tell us about the two stones.
I found that first stone in the middle of the Serengeti in Tanzania at a river wash, and the second stone was here right in West Michigan.
So in
project.
essence, you're connecting Michigan with the Serengeti.
Exactly.
How did you get to that point where you found the first stone?
Driving all day and came upon a flash flood. The rain in the rainy season, everything is dry. This was a wash over an existing road that we were thwarted. We couldn't go any further. It was getting later in the day, and we were hoping to get back to base camp just to grab a beer and a meal and some sleep after traveling all day. So we were basically held up at that point, and that's how the story really began.
And that's when you find the stone.
So one moment, I got out, and Tahawa followed me out to the river's edge, and we were looking at the rage, and I said, "What do you think?" And he said, "Last year, same thing happened to me here in the same spot." And I said, "What happened?" He goes, "Well, we were held up for a long time." I go, "Oh, don't tell me that." He goes, "Yeah." He said, "But," he says, "it was a good thing." And I go, "What?" He says, "Look at the tree behind you." And I looked at it, and he said, "While I was standing here, I looked back a year ago when this happened, and he said there was a leopard in the tree just watching me."
Unusual to have that happen.
Very. You can see elephant, giraffe, lion, but a leopard in the wild is during the day. It's like a gift, you know. And I'm looking at the trees, and there's not many of them around, but I'm looking at a few of them. I go, "I want a leopard." And then he goes, "Nope." He says, "That was my gift from God." I go, "Come on, I want a leopard." He goes, "Nope, you don't get one. That was my gift."
But you had another gift waiting for you.
I-
You look down, and there it is.
Well, he walked back to the vehicle, and I'm looking around in the trees. He's still laughing at me because I'm playing with him, looking. He's going, "No, mind." As he's walking back, laughing, I'm looking up to heaven, and instantly, just being grateful, I look up to Providence, and I'm going, "Well, I guess I don't get a leopard, but I'm here. I get this experience, and I know my grandfather's smiling." And so I just said to God, "Thank you."
Why would your grandfather be smiling?
Because my grandfather would have stacks of every National Geographic book that was ever printed in there. So it was, back then we're talking, early 60s or late 60s. So, we had Etch-a-Sketch, and, I don't even know if the yo-yo was invented. So these were color, these were maps. This was the world. So we were up there. My grandfather would lay these out, even when I was there alone, when I'd stay overnight. We laid them out on this huge dining room table with white linen, and we would open up maps, and it was always, I was always encouraged. "I want to go there." Okay, and then we'd discover where there was, so I was never shut down. So I kind of attribute my wanderlust and my world travel back to his good coaching back in the day. So that's why I knew he was smiling. So when I said thank you, I looked down. There was a crucifix shining in the water. I bent down and I picked it up, and all I got was this rock.
Yeah.
And I looked at the rock, and I looked, and the crucifix isn't there. Somebody lost their cross. The water was clear, and it wasn't deep, maybe an inch or two, but it was gone. And I'm going, okay, that was kind of amazing. I'm thinking, maybe it was just for me. So I pulled this rock up, and I'm looking at the rock. I go, "This looks just like Africa." And I'm going, I'd rather had the bling, but I'll take this. That's a good souvenir. I put it in my pocket. And it was in the same pocket the next morning because I slept in my clothes that night. And
Why do you sleep in your clothes, Mick?
And I never sleep in my clothes, let alone never sleep with my shoes on. And I slept with my clothes and my shoes on. We got back to base camp, and it was just about dark. We went to the mess tent, had a meal and a couple beverages, and I'm walking back with my friend Chris, and we got flashlights now, and we come up upon my safari tent, and we walk up to it, and he goes, "All right, here you go, mate." And he's shining a light on it, and I'm looking at this tent, and it's screened in all the way, and I shine my light. He's got his light, and I shine my light, and I'm thinking, here again, you got to be kidding me. And he goes, "Oh, it's a bit buggy." I'm looking at this tent, and there isn't 1 square inch that didn't have a bug on it. And these are not Michigan ladybugs.
Yeah.
These are African bugs. And this is straight out of, literally, I can't emphasize enough, it's straight out of a horror movie. You couldn't go to Hollywood and recreate anything scarier than my tent. So we opened the zipper up, or he did. I duck in. He closed it and says, "All right, good, like nothing's going on. All right, good night. See you in the morning." I'm flashing my light around inside because I can't believe there isn't a bug in this tent, like a 1,000 of them. And like I said, if you picture, you couldn't even see the screen there. So many bugs. It's that dramatic. I scoured the whole tent. There's 0 bugs. I'm looking in the sleeping bag. 0 bugs. I'm still not convinced. I'm going, and I'm at this point. I'm pretty tired. I'm sleeping in my clothes. I climb into the sleeping bag. I didn't take my shoes off. I laid down and I collapsed. Luckily, I was so tired. I figure if I'm alive in the morning, I'm good to go. The morning I woke up, Chris Peely set a table, linen, and a chair up at the edge of the camp. And the edge of the camp in the Serengeti is where they stop mowing. And I had full breakfast. I pulled this stone out on my second cup of coffee, ate a full meal, pondering where I was, being grateful where I was. And I pulled this stone out as I'm relaxed, and I go, "Oh, that's right, I got this stone." And I look at it, and I go, man, and I remember thinking to myself, I wish I would have found the cross, but this is cool. It looks like Africa. And I dipped my finger in the water, put a little wetness on the stone like any kid would do with any rock that you either spit on it and clean the dirt off. And all of a sudden I turned it just right, and I go, "You got to be kidding me." The crucifix was in the stone. When I turned that stone just right and there was enough water, it flashed, and then I knew. I knew I didn't see anything. I knew I could then share my story without, saying I saw a vision, And
So let's connect the pieces, Mick. We now know that we have 2 stones, Art Prize 2018. Put the puzzle together for us then. Explain God's necklace and the Southern Cross.
Yeah, the 2 stones are pretty much the crux of the project. The first stone, of course, we just talked about. The second stone, I found in 2016. That stone was on the bottom of a pile about 6 foot high of heavy rocks, and it took to the end of moving those rocks, and there it was. So when I looked down and saw the second stone, I took my necklace, which I had always wore, I took it off, laid it on the stone, and that's when I decided, okay, this is, the plot thickens, and that's where I got into my nice contest, and I thought I earned that one, even though I didn't really create the rock, but that's the one I decided I'm going to give that back to God when I decided to get into a nice contest and play tag. I was it, and now he was it. And because my necklace was on this stone, I couldn't really frame the stone and take it around and say, this is my art.
Sure.
So I'm going to hang my art. So I made a necklace, and I said, this is yours. I got mine, this is yours. So that's kind of how this big stone is. That's why it's being hung in front of the Griffins, in front of Van Andel.
Yeah, let's talk about that a minute. So we're talking about a white oak frame that is going to frame the rock, or the stone as we call it. And the Grand Rapids Griffins have supported you in that, giving you a venue for Art Prize.
That was another gift. I mean, it's when you start looking at getting involved in Art Prize. This is, like I said, this is my first entry. And, you not only do your work, but then you have to get a venue. And so when the Griffins did call, that was an exciting moment because being front and center.
Sure.
The Venando Arena, that's the epicenter of the Renaissance of Grand Rapids.
Sure.
And what Grand Rapids is today is a far cry from what it was when I was a boy. And I'm talking downtown, but just the growth in what we are as a city now.
Got it. One final question for you, Mick. So it seems as though there's a lesson to be learned with your Art Prize entry. Your journey, part of your story, but art can be a story, can't it? In other words, by entering this into Art Prize, you're in essence entering a story.
I had to look at why I chose to enter this and why I'm doing this project, and part of it is for the concept of hope. The lack of hope is the beginning of all self-destruction. And so hope is basically, faith is the fuel. And so that's what I want to share, with anybody who's maybe questioning their moment in time, because I had to be at a certain period. I had to be at a place in the middle of nowhere. I mean, literally, you can't get any further from West Michigan. The middle of Serengeti. There had to be a flood. I had to stop at a right spot. I had to look down and say thank you when Muhammad got a leopard, and I didn't. So many things. The crystalline structure had to be on the stone. At some point in time, it had to be blown away out of rock, tumbled to me in a moment in time. If you believe and have a worldview that I do, it's not coincidence. So, and then to have other connections, the big stone and that looks like the little stone, and in the subsequent actions, just give you hope. And I'm just a guy. I'm just a guy who sleeps in his clothes once in a while. And if it happens to me, then there's hope for everybody. And that's what I want to share, is that, if you're coming back from a tour of duty and you have no hope, or if you're a 13-year-old girl and for some reason it's dark and you have no hope, there's hope.
Yeah.
And I had to wait till 2017. I was born in 56. I always had faith. And I had to wait till I was thick enough. God finally tapped me.
Sure. My
project is that go ahead and tap God first. Don't wait till you're this age to get playing the game.
Okay, so look for Mick von Dockstetter, his Art Prize entry, God's Necklace and the Southern Cross, Art Prize 2018. Boy, what a great venue. Grand Rapids Griffins, thanks to the Grand Rapids Griffins, right there at the Venando Arena. And Mick, I wish you all the best. You know me, I love stories, and you've got quite a story to tell.
Thank you, my friend. Thank you, my friend.
All right.